Your grow light isn't something just hanging above your plants. It is the engine driving the entire grow. And if you don't understand how to use it properly, you're just leaving yield on the table. Come on, let's get into it. But before we do, this video is sponsored by Real Growers Recharge. Come on, if you want thriving plants, not just surviving, you got to check out Recharge. You got living soil microbes that break down those nutrients, feed them to the roots fast. You get greener growth, you get stronger plants, and you get better yields. Come on, go over to realgrowers.com, try some Recharge. Use coupon code Scotty420. Get 20% off your first order. Come on, let's get into it now. Come on, Hi-C, you want to get into this one?
Okay, today's video was actually spurred on from a comment from one of the members in Real Grow Lab.
Yeah, Puffy Grows. Puffy Grows was asking a little bit, maybe to do like a bit of an overview about lights and how lights and plants work together. So come on.
And lights are important. It's one of the things we get most excited about buying a new grow light.
Sure.
But it is important. It is something that makes a huge difference in your grow.
Absolutely, man. Lights are the engine, right? That is going to be what is driving photosynthesis. It's the engine that is producing the photons, and then the photons are what hit the leaf surface. And that's what makes photosynthesis. That gives it the light gives the plant the energy to go and grab that carbon from the air and turn it into plant material. So we need to make sure, we always talk about matching the light energy up with the carbon energy. But yeah, just remember that your light is the energy for that plant to build itself.
So the carbon, the nutrients, that's all the fuel, the food.
Yes.
But the light is what actually allows the plant to turn that food into plant material.
Absolutely. And then the nutrients, that's like the oil in the radiator fluid, maybe, it's everything that keeps it working.
And then you kind of mentioned the leaves. They're kind of like solar panels. That's how they work.
Absolutely. They have this thing called a chloroplast. We talk about keeping cannabis green again. Okay, make cannabis green again. The whole fade thing drives me nuts because chlorophyll is green. There's something called the chloroplast in there without getting too technical. That thing gets excited and starts pulling or works to fix carbon out of the air, to take the carbon out of the air and make it into plant material. So for lack of a better description, the faster we can spin that chloroplast, the more it is going to build itself. So energy combined with food equals more plant material. Yeah, so if we are limiting our light, if we've got this tiny little 3 horsepower engine going, that's not enough energy to fix much carbon. That's not much energy to build plant material with. So the more light matched with everything else has to be in balance, but the light is the driver. That is the energy driver.
Okay, and I'm not really focusing on my light from the light source.
Sure.
That matters, but what really matters is what light is actually hitting my plants.
Yes, what you're getting out. What you're putting into the light is just power. What you're getting out of the light is photons, right? Mm-hmm. Out of the fixture is those light photons. And that's really what we're interested in. And that's measured in PPFD, which is the amount of photons that are hitting a meter squared at your canopy. That's really what we want to concern ourselves with. That's the energy.
Yeah, because I could have an amazing light, but if it's 20 feet off of the plant versus 2 feet off of the plant, I'm going to have a completely different amount of light actually hitting the canopy.
Yeah, and that's another thing is your mounting height matters a lot. When you look at these LEDs, because all that light is spread out so much, they need you mounting it at a very specific height for a very specific PPFD. A little bit different than the HPS lights that you're able to kind of hang up high and have them all just intersect.
Okay, so let's talk about, I want to measure my PPFD.
Yeah, you can use a PPFD meter. Some people use their Photon app on their phone. And for $50, $70, you can buy a dedicated PPFD meter. And you want to measure around your canopy to get your PPFD. It's not going to be the same in the center as it is on the sides.
Okay, and PPFD, what am I looking for? I've got my PPFD meter. I'm measuring at the canopy level.
Yeah.
And it's going to probably be different at different stages of life, right?
Sure, absolutely, man. And clones, what do you at, 100 PPFD, maybe a crank it up to 150. If you're in veg, boy, I don't know, anywhere from 400 to 600 ppfd. These are all without CO2. When you get into flower, I don't know, 900 ppfd, maybe up to 1,000. And then as you add CO2, you're going to dial those, you're going to crank those numbers up a bit.
So if you've got ambient CO2, that's what those numbers you were talking about.
Sure.
But you add CO2 into your grow.
Absolutely, and that's the balance with the light. If I'm turning up the light intensity and I'm driving that chloroplast to, like I said, or lack of a better analogy, spin faster, fix more of that carbon faster.
You're going to need more carbon in the atmosphere.
It's going to run. Even at ambient CO2, if I keep on replacing it, replenishing the CO2 air, it's still going to be ripping that off faster than I can replace it, ripping it out of the air.
So if you're making more CO2 available,
Yep.
It's going to need more light than what we just recommended to get the most out of that CO2.
Absolutely. You're going to dial it up a bit more.
So basically, if I turn my lights up without having that extra CO2, it's not really going to benefit my plants. I'm just going to be wasting that extra light.
Yeah, and speaking of wasting light, there's DLI, right? It's the maximum amount of light your plant can absorb per day. With CO2, without CO2, if you are giving it so much light that the plant can't do anything with it, it's basically just rolling off or bouncing off the plant without any energy from the plant, well, that's a waste of money as well. Light, money.
And I think of people playing with like experimental hours, especially in veg.
Yeah.
But are they still meeting their DLI? Are they going over their DLI? That comes into play when you start tweaking the hours of light that you're giving your plants.
That's why when somebody says, oh, I'm going to 11 hours on 13 hours of darkness because I want to speed up flowering or whatever, I say, are you hitting your DLI in 11 hours? Because if so, that makes a lot of sense, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not hitting your DLI in 12 hours and you're going to 11, then you're ripping yourself off of some light energy, right?
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, even when I just flip over from my veg to bloom,
sure,
I'm losing a bunch of hours. So to make up for that DLI, I need to slowly turn up my intensity.
Absolutely, man. You're losing a lot of hours. Hey, but that is just me. It is not about blasting my light. It is about getting the most out of my light. Come on, but what about you? You tell me. What do you do to get the most out of your lights? Let me know in the comments. Come on, if you dug this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Share this one with another grower you know, and check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommending. We think you'll dig them.